Well, welcome back to The Last Goodbye. Your local funeral directors, Jason, and we're here today with Tim as well.
Hi, Jace. Good to be back, mate.
Yes. Those who don't know, we're funeral directors on the north side of Brisbane from Kenton Ross Funerals, just opening some ideas to the industry. We've spoken a little bit about, what to do when someone dies and then how to call a funeral director. But today we're going to go into more about what happens in that first meeting with a funeral director and what comes from there.
A lot of people don't know what to expect from that. I think timing also gets in the way of their thoughts a lot because people are sort of trying to make plans and they're like, oh, well, how long have we got?
Yep. What do we have to do? When do we have to do it? Or some people are rushing through to try and we have to do it. But
Once someone passes away, Jace, what is the time frame? What do they need to get out their wallet straight away, start paying for things? Do they need to search through all the paperwork and make that first call straight away as soon as someone's passed?
Look, as with everything, each business is a little bit different, and I'll touch base on what we go to a little bit later. But in terms of that first phone call, we did touch on when someone dies, what to do and when to call. But once the body's been cared for, the next step is to have that arrangement, that meeting with the funeral director to go through the details. That doesn't have to happen immediately. That can definitely happen within a family's, timing.
Yeah. I mean, stories that sort of come to mind with that. Well, we look after people where someone's passed away, and I've gone on the transfer and have sat down with them during the transfer and quickly organised some stuff because they didn't have the time. And the opposite of that is, of course, we've held people in our care for up to a month, even 2 months, where they've been perfectly safe and sound. There's a lot of processes that people can sort of have undertaken on them to make sure that they can stay in a great condition during that time.
Yep. So we've got the full care facilities, and most places do. But, we all care for the loved one until family's ready to have those conversations.
Yep.
Sometimes it's not about being ready to have those conversations, but just timing within families.
Well, usually it's the case if it's a long stay, they're here because there's a family member traveling around the world
overseas,
or something like
or
that.
Business commitments, life commitments.
That's right.
This is a world now. We live a very, very busy life, and families are very spread across, and they just want to make sure that everyone can be together so they can say goodbye at the same time if that's the case. Yep. So families just let us know. Look, this is kind of what our plans are. Is that all right? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. We've got the means and the ability to care for that person as long as you need, and then we'll make the funeral arrangements when you're ready.
And I think it's only natural to have that sense of urgency when someone's passes away.
Yeah.
Of course, yes, you want to get in and get things done so that your loved one isn't just sitting somewhere. But it is important to remember that they're in like you said, a great care facility being looked after by people. So just get your ducks in a row first. It's fine. It's not a rush. You can just take a couple of extra days to even just have a breather and think about what your loved one, mum, dad, whoever it is that's passed away, whoever that person is, wouldn't want you to be stressed about this. Take a breather, take a day off for a bit of time. So then they call the funeral director. The funeral director says, "Hey, let's meet up." And we talked about this in the last episode. You can meet at the home, you can meet at your home, you can meet at a place in public, wherever you're most comfortable. And you're sitting down for a bit of an in-depth chat. So we also talked about the stuff that we need for births, deaths, and marriages.
Yep.
Well, briefly sort of went through that. But the main thing we're going to be organising is the day itself, whether it's a very simple private cremation where there isn't an attended service, or it's a large, elegant, feast with a bunch of people there making speeches and raising a glass. There's so many different options, countless options, infinite options, because we can tailor it to what you want. So where do we start with this arrangement? Like, what's our first question? It's a big question. What's your first question usually when you're sitting down with someone, Jace?
Oh, that's a difficult one. Again, it's like it depends on who you're sitting down with and what background information you might have. But once you've gone through the general, get to know you a little bit and go from there, it's like, did your loved one ever give you an idea of what they wanted?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. And they may have had that conversation sometime in the past, or so asking if they have an idea already and then trying to explore what that idea might look like is generally the first thing I try and go through to, rather than just going through my preconceived, this is what we need to do for a funeral.
That's right.
But just trying to find out what they already know and what they already think they might want to do, and then working out a way to make that happen.
And sometimes you'll sit down with a family and you'll ask that question. They'll say, look, Dad never said what he wanted. But I know he wanted a cremation and I know he wanted it at this church and I know that he wanted this kind of coffin. It's like, actually, mate, you've done the whole arrangement. Which is great. So burial or cremation was I think that's a big question. Again, it's kind of like it'll dictate where the arrangement goes in many ways.
So logistically, they're two like very different styles of service, especially when you're looking at a burial and you're looking at a location that you've got to go to and potentially get a lot of people to around an open area. Whereas cremation, usually you're looking at, you're just inside some kind of venue, and then a cremation happens privately afterwards. But that said, everyone's different, and some families will go on and attend and witness that cremation as well. So you just got to go through what needs to happen.
So once we have that established, you've chosen a burial or cremation. There's lots of other little questions that we have to ask. Obviously, it's all the crossing the T's and dotting the I's, so to speak. There's a bunch of media stuff, and I think we might cover that maybe in a later episode, Jason, because there's so much to go through. There's a lot
that we can do there.
There's a sort of sky's the limit with technology these days. So if you've got an idea, just ask.
But generally speaking, once we work out, it's going to be a burial or cremation service, we need to work out a venue.
Oh, well, yeah, true, correct.
So, and that can be dictated by whether it's a burial or cremation. So typically if you're having a burial, you're going to end out at the cemetery at some point in time.
Yeah.
That said, again, you don't have to go there. It
can be done privately.
So we can do the private burial for a family if they don't want to attend the interment.
Yeah.
Or sometimes weather dictates that some families don't want to attend, but we
usually have backups in place for that sort of
thing.
We
do usually have backups. There's only been a few instances where we have not been able to complete burials. So and that's just been from big weather events over the years. So I think back, maybe back in 2012, we had a big flooding event, and we literally had nearly 3 weeks where we weren't able to do a single burial at all.
That's before my time, I think.
Yeah, so
that's wild.
After
I would have been when I was just starting, but I didn't realise that they just cut off burials.
Yeah, because the water levels got so high in some of the cemeteries, they had to wait for the groundwater to recede, that they could start opening the graves again safely.
Yeah, because you're going down a fair way in those graves.
Yeah,
and so even though look, there's no flooding here. It is. It's underneath.
Yeah, it's down there. The groundwater stops you. So there's many factors at play when we organise these things. But going on from a burial or cremation, we're looking at a venue. So that can look like a church, which is traditional. Chapels that most of the cemeteries or crematorium have these days is non-denominational, so
just a nice hall, more or less. They call it a chapel, and people sort of think that's religious, but no, it's just a nice building to have a nice service in.
Yeah, absolutely. So any religion can go there, or non-religious,
so that works well. What about from the day of arrangement? How long have you got to have that funeral? What's the time span in there? Because this also catches a lot of people as well. And it's one of the questions we get asked the most is, how long have I got? Do I have to do it straight away? Am I able to do it straight away? It's each to their own. Yeah, there's some things we need to wait for.
Very, very open-ended question depending on circumstances, families, and what they want. But, if you want to go turn it around and go, what's typical? What is typical is we would normally have an arrangement with a family probably 1 to 2 days after we've received the notification that someone's passed away. Maybe a bit longer if there's a weekend. And look, weekend and public holidays, we're working. Don't worry.
Yes.
We're absolutely working.
I know, Paulie. I know.
A lot of the venues and a lot of the places we've got to call to try and book things, they're not available. So it is good to try and wait to that Monday or that next day that's available, so we can sit down with the family, and while we're doing the arrangement, while we're having that conversation, to make the calls and make the bookings, so that when we walk away from there, we've got a plan. Otherwise, it's all just, this is what we'd like to do, and then we go away and finally get onto everyone that need to get onto, and then it's like, well, now these are your options. And it's like,
where possible, I like to walk away from a family with them knowing exactly when and where that service is going to be, so they can start telling people, because they're going to have countless phone calls from people. Where is it? Where, what's going on?
But it's not even that. It's like when someone dies and you're trying to organise something, your clarity that you have, it isn't 100%. So we try and make things as simple as possible, give clear answers where we can, and then leave something in writing once we're done, so you know exactly what's going on. But we'll have that conversation a couple of days after someone dies, and then we'll move on to a service, usually within 5 days to maybe a week. Is what you would think something that's average. But as averages go, there are things that are a lot smaller and a lot bigger. So
3 or 4 weeks. Some people planning for a month out, and that's fine. It's what it is.
No problems at all.
Yeah, you usually have to wait for someone to get to be available to come to the service. That's fine, mate. Don't rush it. Let's wait till everyone's available. Your loved one is safe and sound, so no rushing. A lot of people sort of think, oh, okay, well, I've got to go find a celebrant. I've got to go find some flowers. I've got to do... No. We're going to cover all of that stuff for you. If you've got someone in mind you'd like to officiate your service, just let us know who they are. Let us organise it. That's what a funeral director is here for. That's part of
the
it's more or less an event coordinator. I think you said the other day.
I would prefer to say event coordinator rather than a party planner.
But you get my point.
Your own.
You get my point. We're going to be going around. We're organising.
We are.
We're organising the chips.
We do the refreshments. We'll get the drinks ready if you want as well.
Right. We'll do all of that stuff.
But that's the other thing. Quite often you want a service, and that service is depending on who you are and what you want to dictate to. It can be quite reserved and quite somber sometimes, and with a bit of a celebration there, because that's what we like to try and do these days. But, that after service, that refreshment, that wake, that party. That's when a lot of people open up,
I think that's a lot of people say that's when the best stories come out.
Yeah.
Because you're not standing in front of, 50 to 100 people to share some stuff.
Yeah.
Suddenly all of
but
the
you're
better stories.
happy to share the good ones in front of 3 or 4 mates. So.
Exactly. I think where possible, if you can do something after the service just to unwind, whether that is just with a few people or you invite everyone over to a refreshments lounge, we're going to have all the options there for you. Yep. So you just ask your funeral director and say, hey, what do you guys reckon? We were thinking something small. We might even say, look, if you're able to head back to your place and just bring some mates, that's fine.
Yeah.
But there is this great venue over here. Here's all the costings and everything. And we'll book it for you. You don't need to worry about anything. Here's the menu options, everything.
And if you've got a crazy Uncle Pete in the family, we'll make sure it's a place that doesn't do alcohol. So
we've all got a crazy Uncle Pete.
And to be honest, that comes up.
Oh,
it does. So making sure that venues are appropriate for the mix of people that you're going to end up with at a funeral. So
Jace, do you have to have refreshments afterwards?
Oh, absolutely not.
No. In fact, there's families I've sat down with where I've said, hey, don't do something. Go off and do your own private thing. It's fine. Doesn't matter.
Especially with those smaller groups of families, and there might be something going on in the background that we don't have all the details, but you can get a sense of it pretty quickly.
Very quickly, yeah.
And then it's just like, okay, we'll do the service. We'll finalise everything here. You've got a few minutes outside of the chapel or over the car park to say goodbye and say hello and thank you to those that attended. But go back with your core group. Go and debrief, de-stress just with them. You don't need to placate to 50 to 100 people that you don't spend a lot of time with normally.
I've had families in the past where there's quite clearly a bit of a crack down the middle of the family, unfortunately. And they've asked, oh, can we have refreshments? But can you just make sure these people aren't there? And it's like, oh, mate, honestly. This isn't a video thing, but I'm a pretty scrawny guy. I'm not much of a bouncer. I don't think I'd be able to stop people.
Yeah.
But if it is the case that you want to just have a big thing, hand it over to us and we'll help put it together for you. It doesn't just end at the door of the chapel. Our services go far beyond that to whatever you need to make sure that your life's a bit easier around this time. A viewing is something we would arrange at a arrangement as well. Is it always possible, Jace?
Most of the time it is.
Sorry, I've given Jace another loaded question. It's really complicated.
So technically speaking, that loved one is your loved one, and you have the right to see them. And that's it. It depends on the circumstances, though. So we also, as funeral directors, have the right to say no.
Yeah.
In certain circumstances.
It's rare. It doesn't happen.
It
a
is.
lot.
It's very rare, especially for us. But there are processes that can go through. And look, these are circumstances where, so just someone has passed away. Might have been a little bit of time before they were found by family, or it might be a certain type of illness or a certain type of circumstances for their death.
Yeah.
That means that that viewing experience is not an optimal experience for families.
Yeah.
And given our experience, we will try and guide families into those decisions.
Yeah.
But they will then sometimes say, look, no, we would like to. So,
and that's their right.
That is.
It's their loved one.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Look, at the end of the day, when someone comes into our care, there's going to be a wide variety of conditions that they could be in. It's not. There's no easy way to talk about this sort of thing. But we're going to provide our absolute best level of care, and then we're going to advise people based on our experience.
Yeah.
Say, look, I'm going to try really hard to make this a positive thing. I want people to come in and see their loved one looking peaceful and know that they've been well cared for. There's certain circumstances where the more we do, the less possible that's going to be for people. Yeah. And we ended up doing, there's a point that you get to where you're almost damaging people by trying to look after them more. It's a hard thing to try and explain to someone, obviously. And we're very careful when we talk about it.
A lot to go through in terms of body care and preparation, especially for viewings and things like that. But
exactly.
I think we'll delve deeper into that in some future episodes. Because I think there's a lot of information there.
Yeah, and I like sharing that sort of thing as well. I don't think it's something that should be kept behind the scenes.
No.
Fully. I mean, there's certain things that we'll, be careful about how we talk about things. But no, I think it's okay sharing, the level of cares that we go to. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No.
Coming to the next point about arrangements itself. Oh, well, I mean, we've kind of covered everything, and we're going to delve into it a bit deeper again in future episodes just to sort of flesh it out a little bit. But I guess what comes next, after we've finished an arrangement, we've signed some paperwork together, you guys know when and where that service is going to be taking place so you can tell other people. We are going to be sending you some live stream links for 9 out of the 10 of the funerals that we do these days. So that people in Points Beyond will be able to tune in.
that has changed in this industry. We can go. I think there is a lot to discuss and unpack there in terms of the technological change across the industry that I've at least witnessed from the last 20 odd years.
Yeah.
But just a quick note. I remember when I first started with Dad, going back, a couple of 20 odd years ago.
Yeah.
We used to take out old school tape deck to the service,
like the little cassettes,
like the little cassettes with the ribbon through it, the whole lot.
You and rewind it with a pencil.
Yeah. Hey, wasn't quite that bad. But we'd take that out, and it was always like, okay, have you got the D-size batteries inside the thing? Have you got spare ones just in case? And have you got a spare cassette in case we go over an hour and 10 minutes? Because that's all that tape will do.
Oh my gosh!
And you're sitting there, you press the play and record at the same time, and if you don't do that, it's not going to, So, but
I'm so glad I'm a funeral director today and not back then. It's just very simple these days. But I think that's a good idea, Paulie, if we cover it in a later episode about tech in the funeral industry, because it is really interesting.
Tech changes too.
I know, it's already changing again. I came in here, I started here when I was 21, maybe 2021. And I thought I had it all. I'm like, oh, look at these guys using tape decks. Let me see if I can, talk them into maybe using a digital camera, that sort of thing. And already there's stuff that my kids, my daughter's 8 or 9, and she'll come up with something awesome on my phone where I'm like, oh man, that's brand new. Like, I didn't know that my phone could do that. That's so much easier. And it's just, I feel like I'm already there. Like maybe I'm past it. It'll happen to us. So after that, a family walking away with nothing to do until the funeral. I wish. No, unfortunately, we have to leave you with a bit of homework.
We do leave you with a little bit of homework, a little bit of a list. It's not usually that bad. So
No.
So it's some of the basic things that we need. We're talking about bodies and viewings and stuff. We we need some clothes to dress that person.
Of course.
You know?
Yeah.
If we've got someone with their own makeup or their own perfume or cologne, you know, we'll take that as well, you know. We need photos for most of what we do, you know. Typically, every service we need some kind of photos, whether that be just so we can see what that person looked like to prepare them.
Yep.
And then we always put a photo up on the screen, photo on the coffin, photo on the coffin plaque.
Up on our website as well.
Up on the website.
But usually, if it's if families would like, we can announce the passing of this person and any service details. Yeah. So photos is a massive one, I find, and I find that during arrangements when families pull out the photo albums, I usually sit and go, "Hey guys, look, let's skip that because I don't have 3 hours." And as much as I love looking at some of the oldies, it's great, absolutely fine. Yeah. But you're going to be there much longer than you think, so always allow a little bit more time for photos. Yep. Clothes is a big one. And then just meeting with a celebrant or having a chat. So it's just another sit down like you would with the funeral director, another sit down with who's going to be officiating your service for you. And again, just allow up to an hour, maybe 2 hours just to have a chat to them because they're going to be building the content of the service, not so much the logistics. Yeah.
Look, Tim, I think we might have to circle back on this. We might have to continue this because we're starting to run out of time.
We've gone over time already, Jace. Yeah. But no, this is a great chat. Well, we might either make a part 2 and cover a little bit about the actual funeral itself in the next episode.
And look, as far as an arrangement goes, there's a lot of minutiae in there that we can cover so family knows what to expect. But we've got a few paths to follow there, guys, and over the next few episodes. But if you got any other questions or any other queries and want us to refine what we've been speaking about, just contact us and we'll answer your questions.
Absolutely. I mean, we've got so many episodes in the pipeline now, Jace. I'm excited to hear what direction this podcast is going to go in because I feel like we've almost sort of changed directions
already.
Yeah.
No, it's great to share stories and, you know, opening up, in a forum like this for us, it, you know, helps us to go, oh, yeah, that, and then this, and what about this? And it's like, I'm excited.
We'll change the way we do things, just like we have for the last however many years we've been here. But thanks again for everyone to sticking around to listen to The Last Goodbye.
All right, thanks, guys.